If you're a new temporary or permanent resident, what is the correct process to leave and enter Mexico as a resident versus a tourist?
In this video, we're going to take you with us as we fly out of Mexico to the US. But first, let's roll the intro. Hey guys, Two Gay Expats here. I'm Andy.
And I'm Trey. We are here at Cancun International Airport and we are leaving Mexico as residents for the first time.
We don't want to get our residency cards canceled, so it's important that we do this correctly.
The first thing you must know is that you need to bring both your passport and your resident card every time you're entering or leaving the country.
When you leave Mexico, you must notify INM or Mexican Immigration. To do this, locate the INM office or kiosk before you go through security.
Hopefully this is easy to find. We've never bothered to look for it outside of security before as a tourist.
Before we head inside Terminal 3, we want to highlight that to our right, there is ample temporary parking spots for drop-off.
Also, we're heading in the last door for T3 departures with arrivals and ground transport just a little further down on the left by the welcome bars.
Entering the last door for departures lands you in front of the American Airlines check-in desks. To your left takes you up to security for all T3 departures as well, and INM is almost right behind you. But unfortunately, no one is in the office.
All right, so we just found the immigration office very quickly, actually. It was just when we walked in the door to the left, right across from Starbucks, basically. And there was a couple of people there, and we asked, there's no immigration officer. And it said that between the hours of 4 and 8 a.m., you had to go in past security to another office. However, after 8 a.m., which it is now, it's like almost 9 o'clock, you have to come to this office, but there's nobody here. So we went to the information desk and he said, maybe just wait. And maybe he said he doesn't know why there's nobody there. So we're gonna hang out for a little bit and hopefully somebody comes back soon. But yeah, even the airline attendants were saying they didn't know what to do. So a little stressful for our first time.
See. In less than 15 minutes, an INM officer was back at the desk processing resident departures.
She will hand out the FMMs, which you'll know as the tourist card, which is actually the same form you use as a resident. And when you use this form, you only fill out the top half for sections 1 through 8, and then the bottom half, which you will hand to the airline, to the gate agent when you're boarding, just like you normally do, but you will hang on to the top half until you return to Mexico. She also scans your passport here and then marks RP or RT, whether you're a temporary or permanent resident, on both the top and the bottom portion. Of interest also, I saw lots of airline employees handing over the big stacks of the bottom half that they collect when you board. So they must process those even here right at the airport when they have downtime. I don't know if they're gonna have any downtime, but they do hand those in here. So somebody does enter those into the system. It's very important as a temporary or permanent resident for INM to mark you as leaving the country as well as marking your return. So they have that on file. Otherwise, you can they can cancel your card. So it's very important not to enter as a tourist when you return. We've learned that if you lose the top half of the FMM form, it's best to just fill out the top half and enter through the resident line and just give them your permanent resident or temporary resident card along with your passport and just the top half that you filled out new, and just tell them that you had lost it in transit. So that is the correct procedure for those issues.
And if you find yourself waiting a little while, grab yourself coffee.
We said, oh my gosh, if we go to get a coffee, someone will for sure be there. And it was actually very interesting. One of the INM officers was right in front of me at Starbucks, and she came over, but she wasn't working. All right, as you can see behind us, there's a second INM office behind security. We are basically in the food court next to Sushi Tequila. You will find the second INM office at T3. T3 is the Cancun International Airport terminal that services American Airlines, Delta Airlines, United Airlines, Spirit Airlines, and Air Canada. So if you are Canadian or American, this is most likely where you're gonna be. So if you don't see somebody downstairs at T3 and INM before you access security, you can definitely come upstairs. There's a a bit more of a line here now, but it's also getting a bit later in the day. We're now at around 10 o'clock in the morning, so definitely get here a little bit early just to make sure you can navigate this process, as it's so important.
And if you are worried about traffic delays with recent road construction, a new pet-friendly Hilton Garden Inn just opened at the airport by Terminal 2, which is good to know for those super early flights.
And for the last part of the process, because we checked in online, we knew the airline did not have our passports scanned in already, so we went to the gate, had them scan those in, and she also checked to make sure that we had the bottom half of the FMM form, which you always have to turn in when you're exiting Mexico, whether you're a tourist or a temporary or permanent resident. And one more pro tip at T3 in Cancun International Airport. Right across from gate C17, there is a Plaza Premium Lounge. It is the only, I think, VIP lounge here in this terminal, and sadly, it used to be part of the Priority Pass network, but it is no longer, but you can still go in for a day pass, but I will say it's the smallest of all the lounges at Cancun International Airport. There are still Priority Pass lounges at Terminal 2 and Terminal 4, which are actually, I think, a little bit better than this one, but sadly, this is where most of the American and Canadian flights leave from. But if you're flying domestic, you don't have to do any of this process that we talked about today, and you can use the lounge for free if you're a Priority Pass member at both Terminals 2 and Terminal 4. Terminal 2 is where you can fly out using Volaris.
We love flying out of Cancun, and we'll always try to book a window seat on the left side of the plane for spectacular views of the beach.
All right, let's talk about your return to Mexico as a resident. On your return flight, go ahead and fill out the remaining fields of the top half of the FMM. We recommend waiting to complete these fields until you are on your flight, just in case you decide to change it during your trip or the flight cancels. Also, as a reminder, the date is entered with the day first and then the month, which trips up a lot of Americans. We've been writing the month first our whole lives until you move to Mexico.
Another travel tip is to grab an extra form on your return flight to Mexico so that you have it for the next time you depart the country. Most flights no longer distribute this form, as tourists can complete it online and print it out.
On your return flight to Cancun, again, we like to book the same window seat on the left side of the plane. If it's not too cloudy, you'll get amazing views of the Yucatan Peninsula on arrival, sometimes flying over the stunning island paradise of Isla Obash.
After landing, you will be directed to Mexican immigration, where you should go to the residence line. In Terminal 3, where most of the American and Canadian flights land, you will head down the escalator, where you will find the Mexicanos or residence line to the left once you enter the immigration hall, and the tourist line to the right.
On our last two entries for our Kanye, and this time entering for the first time with our permanent resident cards, we were the only people in line.
If you missed our video on the Kanye procedure for exchanging your residency visa for a residency card, we made a video on that procedure, and we'll pop that up for you in the info card above and the description below.
All right, when you reach the counter, you're going to present the top half of the FMM along with your passport and resident card, and that's it. After a few stamps, you'll be on your way.
You will exit Terminal 3 after immigration by the Cancun duty-free on your left, and then exit customs also on the left after you collect your baggage. Well, that's it for the step-by-step guide for traveling internationally as a temporary or permanent resident of Mexico.
If you like this video, do us a favor and smash that like button and subscribe to our channel. And before we go,
let's roll the bloopers reel.
Hopefully this is easy to find. We've never bothered to look for it as a tourist.
Oh, there it is. I see it right now.
All right, we just made it upstairs. Again, we are at T3, Terminal 3 at Cancun International Airport. This is the
Tiramisu.
This is the tiramisu.
Another travel tip is to grab an extra flight. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you on the next adventure.
Hasta luego.